The College Football Playoff Committee has released their first playoff ranking of the 2021 college football season, and some of the big questions coming into the evening were who would be ranked second, who would be ranked higher, Oregon or Ohio State? Would the committee value Oregon's head-to-head win over Ohio State in week 2, or would they value Ohio State more because they've been the better team ever since? And where will the Cincinnati Bearcats be ranked? Well, the committee has spoken, and at number 1 was Georgia, no surprise there. Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Michigan State. And number 4 is Oregon. And the first two teams out right now are Ohio State at 5 and Cincinnati at 6. So before I get into my initial reaction, I do want to go through the rest of the top 25 because I feel like this is important and it's going to serve importance. Number 7, Michigan. Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 9, Wake Forest. Number 10, Notre Dame. That's your top 10. 11, Oklahoma State. Baylor, 12. 13, Auburn. 14, Texas A&M. 15, BYU. 16, Ole Miss. 17, Mississippi State. 18, Kentucky. 19, NC State. 20, Minnesota. 21, Wisconsin. 22, Iowa. 23, Fresno State. 24, San Diego State. And 25, Pittsburgh. So what sticks out to me in this top 25 is that Fresno State is ranked number 23. And why does that stick out to me? Well, one of the big questions coming into the evening were who would be ranked higher, Oregon or Ohio State. And the fact that the committee has Oregon ahead of Ohio State, it does appear that they do favor the head-to-head win over Ohio State in week 2, despite Ohio State looking like the better team ever since that game. But what I think nobody is realizing, or what people can't really see at this point, is that Oregon beat Fresno State in week 1. And the fact that Fresno State is in this top 25, I think that had something to do with it. I think that's another accolade that Oregon has over Ohio State. Because if you look at this top 25, Ohio State's best win of the season is against Minnesota. They have a convincing win over Penn State, but Penn State is not in this top 25. Now, could Penn State be in that top 25 when this is all said and done? Absolutely. But the fact that they're not right now, I think that's has a big part of why Oregon is ranked ahead of the Buckeyes right now. And I did want to discuss Alabama at number 2 because I had Alabama at number 5 in my personal top 10 this week. Because I feel like you got to at least respect that, one, Ohio State is looking like one of the best teams in college football right now. They're looking like that one team that can challenge Georgia and Alabama as far as winning the national championship. Because Ohio State has been that good since that loss to Oregon. But here's the truth. They only put Alabama at number 2 because they're just looking to get all this hype for the SEC championship game between Georgia and Alabama, because it'd be 1 versus 2 and it'd be must-see TV. So it's just to generate hype. That's really all it is. Number 3, Michigan State. They got that one correct without a doubt because they have the signature win over number 7, Michigan. And I also do want to point out Georgia's resume. Georgia has wins over Auburn and Kentucky. So those are some solid wins right there. We're both in this top 25. Alabama with wins over Ole Miss and Mississippi State. However, I just feel like the overall quality that Georgia has, I feel like overall it looks a bit better than Alabama at this point. Even though Clemson has struggled all season long, we didn't know that Clemson was going to look completely terrible offensively all season long, because that was anticipated to be the biggest win of the year. So I think that's all something to keep in mind as well. And I also think there's more value in Michigan State's win over Michigan, who's 7, and there's more value of Cincinnati's win over Notre Dame, who's 10. So Alabama, they don't have a win over any of the teams in the top 15 like Michigan State does, like Oregon does, like Georgia does, like Cincinnati does. So at least right now, Alabama does not deserve to be number 2. In my opinion, they just don't. And sorry, not sorry, but if you're going to lose to a team with their backup quarterback, you honestly have no business being in the top 5. And me putting Alabama at number 5 in my ranking this week was honestly just generosity, nothing else. But I do want to close it out talking about Cincinnati, because I felt like Cincinnati should have at least been number 5 or number 4, because you got to respect the fact that Cincinnati has a road win against Notre Dame. You have to at least acknowledge that. And I think the fact that they have Cincinnati at number 6 right now, I think it's evident that the committee isn't going to put Cincinnati in the playoff unless they feel like they have to put them in. And I was thinking about advancing that kind of discussion separately, talking about it sometime later on in the week, because there are a couple scenarios that could play out that could potentially force the committee's hand into putting Cincinnati in that playoff. And I also think the fact that the committee puts Alabama at number 2, I think it's evident that if they lose the SEC championship game to Georgia, or whoever loses that SEC title game is still going to get in. I think it's also evident that why they did that. And the Big Ten East is going to play out on its own, because Michigan State and Ohio State still have to play each other. Ohio State still has to play Michigan. And the winner of the Big Ten East is going to go up against either Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Iowa. So they're going to have another opportunity to get an additional signature win in that Big Ten championship, no matter who it is, which one of those 3 teams are that ends up representing the Big Ten East. And if Notre Dame can finish 11-1, that's going to make Cincinnati's win against them look super strong. So that's also going to play into effect, maybe. If Notre Dame can win out, how will that look when it's all said and done? And, the Big 12, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Oklahoma. Baylor still has to play Oklahoma. Oklahoma still has to play Oklahoma State and Baylor. As long as the Big 12 champion has 1 loss, I think they will be in discussion as one of those 4 teams in this playoff. But let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have a great day.